Today I'm going to show you how to draw this simple ocean illustration. It's easier than you think, and I promise you, you can draw this, even if you're a beginner. If you are new here, please subscribe so you don't miss a new video, and leave a like to support my channel and help this video reach more people. Also, if you will enjoy this video and would like to draw more with me, please make sure to check out my Patreon, where I post more tutorials like this. And now let's start. I'm going to draw this on the A4 canvas from Procreate. Rotate it this way. And here's the color palette I will be using. You can download it, link is in the description. And first I'm going to take this first color here, and we are going to draw the circle. Let's take the brush, let's go to calligraphy and pick monoline brush. My brush size is 33%. And we are going to draw the circle like this. Hold your pencil on the screen and now put your finger on the screen to make this a perfect circle. Now we can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, and now let's color this inside. So let's drag the color in there. And let's use the arrow tool to move it to the middle of the canvas. It's going to snap to those two lines like this. And this is because I have snapping turned on here. So make sure you have this option turned on too. Okay, let's tap here to finish. And now we are going to divide this circle into few parts. For this, we are going to use the eraser. Let's tap on it, tap again, and here also let's pick monoline. The brush size I'm going to use here will be 51%. And I'm drawing a wavy line like this, a little bit higher than the middle of the circle. Now let's divide the top part to 3 more parts. So we need to draw 2 lines. And now the bottom part, let's divide it into 5 parts. So let's draw 4 lines, like that. Now we are going to color the parts of the circle. Let's open the color palette. And those 2 parts at the bottom, I'm going to keep the color as it is. And now I'm going to take the color next in the line, so this one. And I'm going to drag it to the next part, here. And also to this one here. Now let's take the next color and put it to the part higher, like this. Let's take this dark purple color here and put it to the top. Now this blue will go under it and the light blue right here. Now we can also change the background color. To do that, let's open the layers, go to the background color, and let's pick this color here. Tap on done. And now we can create a new layer to add some shadow to those parts of the circle. To do that, I'm going to be selecting the area of each part of the circle, and then I will be coloring it on the new layer that we just created. So tap here on this layer, and now go to the selection tool. Here pick automatic, and make sure your color fill is not turned on. Tap on the bottom part here, and you can swipe your pencil to the left or right to adjust the selection threshold. Make sure it's a high number. And now with this selected, we are going to open the layers, and we are going to pick layer number 2, so our new layer. Now let's take the color, let's take this dark purple color here, and we are going to change the brush to something with texture. Let's go to charcoals, and here we can pick to be compressed. My brush opacity will be 58% and the brush size 9%. Very lightly I'm going to color the bottom part of that selection, like this, and making it darker at the bottom. Now let's tap here to finish this, and we are going to do it again and again for all the parts that have that green color. So let's open the layers, tap on the layer of the circle, use the selection tool, and now select this part here. Now let's go to the layers and tap on the layer number 2, and we can color the bottom part of this selection like that. Tap here to finish, and let's do it again. So tap here, select the next part, go back to the layer number 2, and add the color at the bottom part of this selection. Finish this and do it again 2 more times. Okay, and this is finished. And now we're going to change the blending mode of this layer. So let's tap here on this N letter and let's pick overlay. This way we have here a darker version of the color that is underneath it with a little purple tint. Let's change the layer's opacity. Let's make it 86%. And now we can create a new layer to add some light to those three other parts of the circle. Let's change the color. Let's take this yellow color here. And now go to the layers. And we are going to repeat the same process we did with the other parts of the circle. So first let's tap on this layer of the circle and use the selection tool and select this part. Now let's go to the layers and pick the layer number 3. Let's change the brush. Here we can pick this one, Vine Charcoal. And for this the brush opacity will be 55% and the brush size 14%. Now we are going to color the top part of the selection. Okay, let's finish this and do it 2 more times. Let's color very top of the circle like this. Tap here to finish. And now we can change the blend mode of this layer. Let's make this also overlay. And here the layer's opacity will be 82%. Now we can create a new layer to draw the sun. Let's change the color. Take this lighter yellow color here. And let's change the brush. Let's go to calligraphy and pick monoline. And we can draw a circle here. Hold your pencil on screen and then put your finger on the screen to make this a perfect circle. And we can use this edit shape if we want to move this circle. I'm going to move it somewhere here. Tap with a finger on the screen to finish this. And now let's color this inside. I don't want this circle to be visible on that empty line of the big circle. So to do that, I'm going to tap on the layer of the big circle. And I will use the selection tool and I will tap on that empty line here. Now let's go back to the layer of the sun. And here we can use the eraser to erase that line, like this. Tap here to finish. And now we are going to change the eraser brush. So let's tap on it. And let's go to inking and pick here Studio Pen. With the brush size 23%, I'm going to erase wavy lines like this in this bottom part of the sun. This way I'm going to create a reflection in the water. Okay, and now we can pick the brush. Let's set it also to Studio Pen, and the brush size will be 22%. And we can draw some more wavy lines like this, a little bit lower than the sun. Something like that. Okay, this should be enough. And now I would like the sun to shine a little bit. So for this, I'm going to use the selection tool to select the top part of the sun. And here at the bottom, I'm going to pick copy and paste. Now if we open the layers, this part is a new layer. Let's move it under the layer of the sun, here. And we can use the Gaussian blur for this. Swipe your pencil on the screen to add the blur size, and my blur size will be 16%. Now there's a very small shine to the sun. We can make it a little bit stronger by duplicating this layer. Let's swipe it to the left and pick duplicate. Let's merge those layers together, so tap here and pick here merge down, and this is how it looks now. Now I'm just going to make sure there is no color in that empty line of the big circle. So I'm going to tap here and select this line, and also let's select this part. And now we can go back to the layers and pick this layer of the sunshine. And then let's use the eraser, let's put it back to monoline brush, and we can erase this part here. Okay, now we can start drawing seaweeds. Let's create a new layer for them, and let's change the color. Let's take this green color here. And the brush I'm going to use for this will be Studio Pen. My brush size will be 51%. And we can just draw wavy lines like this, wavy shapes. Let's color this inside and let's draw some more. And maybe 2 more on this side here. Now we can add some shading to the seaweed. To do that, let's tap on this layer and set it to alpha lock. This way we are going to be drawing only on the area of this shape. Let's change the color. Let's take the next one in line, this one. And the brush I'm going to use for this will be in drawing, and it's this one, gloaming. My brush size is 60%, and I'm just going to color the top parts of the seaweeds like that. I'm adding some more of the color at the top of the seaweed and also on the left side of it. Something like this. And for this side, let's do it more on the right side. Okay, now we have to cut away the parts that we shouldn't see, that are outside of the circle and also on those empty lines. So to do that, let's open the layers and let's tap on the layer with the big circle, and we can use the selection tool and select the outside of the circle. Now open the layers and go to the layer with the seaweed and use the eraser tool to erase the lines we shouldn't see. So here, and now we can start erasing some of the empty spaces, the empty lines from the big circle, to make it look like the seaweed is going between those lines. Now here maybe this one, and here like this. Okay, so this is how it looks. And now we can tap here to finish. And maybe we can draw some more seaweeds. Let's create a new layer for them. And let's change the color to this orange one here. And the brush I'm going to use for this will be in drawing, and it's this one, Murilla. The brush set I'm going to use here will be 4%. And on this side I'm going to draw a very simple lines like this, simple plant. Something like that. And maybe one more here. Okay, this should be enough. And now let's make the brush size really small, 2%. And we can draw a plant here like this. So just the wavy lines, something like that. And now we can draw small leaves all over the lines. They don't have to be very precise, it will still look nice. Okay, this is finished, and now let's cut away the parts we shouldn't see. So let's go to the layers, tap on the layer of the big circle, use the selection tool, select the outside of the circle, go back to the layer of the seaweed, and use the eraser to erase the lines. Here maybe let's erase this part, and maybe for this just this one here. And now to this side, maybe let's erase this one here, and here, and maybe one more here. Okay, I like how this looks now. And now we can still add some texture to this seaweed, some more color. So let's open the layers and tap on this layer, set it to alpha lock. And let's take the next color in line, so this one, darker orange color. And we can make the brush bigger, 8%. And let's just add some color over there, like this. Let's shade it like that. And for this one, I'm just going to go kind of randomly here, more on the bottom and a little bit on the sides. Okay, now we can start drawing the dolphins. Let's take the color, this one here, this dark blue one, and let's create a new layer for them. Let's first tap on the top layer and then create a new layer above it. And here I'm going to use my brush stamps. I have different fish and ocean creatures stamps in this brush pack. If you're interested, you can check it out, link is in the description. So here I'm going to pick the dolphin field. And if you don't want to use my stamp brushes, you can hand draw the dolphin by yourself looking at the reference picture. My brush size here will be 26%. And I'm going to stamp it here. And now I'm going to make the brush 25%, so just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to stamp it here. Now we can still change the position of those dolphins. Let's use the selection. Here at the bottom select freehand, and we can just select this one dolphin here. Now let's use the arrow tool, and we can move it or rotate it however we want. I'm going to move it like this, and now let's tap here to finish this, and tap again, and I'm going to move this one here also. I'm going to move it a bit higher, and going more up like this. Okay, tap here to finish, and now we can add some light to them. Let's open the layers and tap on this layer to set it to alpha lock. Change the color to this one here. And the brush I'm going to use for this will be an airbrushing, and it's soft brush. Let's make the brush very small, maybe 3%, and the brush opacity 60%. Let's add some light to this dolphin here at the bottom of him, like that. And for this one, on top of him, over here. And now I'm going to still move this dolphin a little bit to the side. So I'm going to use the selection and then arrow tool. Okay, I think this is a better place for him, like this. And now we can draw some small waves in the ocean under the dolphins. Let's create a new layer for this. And let's change the color to this one here. This dark purple one. And the brush I'm going to use for this will be in inking, and it's Studio Pen. The brush size is 16%. And we can draw wavy lines like this under the dolphin's tails. And now we can change the blending mode of this layer, so those lines are not so dark. Let's change it to overlay. And let's turn down the opacity. Let's make it 79%. And this illustration was supposed to be finished, but then I thought maybe let's add some more fish at the bottom of the ocean between the seaweeds. So for that I'm going to create a new layer, and I will take one more of my brush stamps. This one, fish 1 field, and with the brush size 9%, I'm going to stamp this fish here and also here. Now I'm going to cut away some parts of the fish. Let's select the layer of the seaweed, this one, and go to the selection tool and select the seaweed we want to cut away from the fish. Let's change this setting to automatic, and then I'm going to select this seaweed and this one here. Now go back to the layer of the fish, use the eraser tool and just erase the fish like that. Okay. And now I also have to erase that fish that is coming out of the big circle a little bit. So I'm going to the layer of the big circle, and I will select the outside of it, and then back to that layer of the fish, and just erase that little part of the fish that was coming out of the circle. So I don't really like this color of the fish, I'm going to change it a little bit. Let's go to the adjustments, and here pick hue, saturation, brightness, and we can change the hue a little bit and the saturation. And my hue will be 36%, saturation 68%, and the brightness will stay at 50%. Let's tap here to finish, and maybe we can add 2 more small fish. Let's create a new layer for them. We can keep this color here. And I'm going to change the brush size to 6%, 1 fish here, and now maybe even smaller, 4%. Stamp it here, and now we can use the arrow tool to turn them around. Let's pick here, flip horizontal. Okay, tap here to finish, and now go to the layers, and I'm going to change the blend mode of this layer to overlay. And now this is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please share your illustration with me on my Instagram, I would love to see it. And here is a special shout out to my Patreon big fans. Thank you so much for being there with me and supporting me. If you want to check my Patreon and draw more with me, link is in the description. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!